Okay, so the two ends are done, the two sides are done, and they should look basically like this. I have 12 sections in each of mine. Here's one end, and it should have that extra loop. And here's the other end, and that should end with just the little arrow divot here. Okay, same thing with this side. And if you'll notice, they are identical. Loop, divot. Okay, put them on top of each other, and you should have the exact same gaps. All right, so you're going to have them like this. We're going to start on this end, attaching them together. Okay, so first thing I'm going to do is add thread. Because the majority of this is going to end up through the clear and white beads, I'm going to use a white thread. There'll be a few black beads in the middle that I'm going to add, or on the ends for the clasps that I'm going to add, but no big deal. They should be pretty well covered with the white thread. Not going to be a major problem. So get the length you want. And I know you know how to do this, but I'm showing you anyway, just because it's easier. All right. Now, each side has its own tail. You start whichever side you want to. It doesn't really matter because they are, like I said, interchangeable. So, take your thread, make your little square knot, like that. Nice and tight. If you want to make your little thing shorter, that's fine, you can. I don't tend to pay a whole lot of attention to how long the tail is originally. It's because I can always trim it. I don't worry near as much about wasting an inch or two of thread like I did when I was younger. What does it always say? Oh, I've wasted more money on worse things. Okay. Pull it nice and tight so it's snug, but don't pull it so that it comes loose. But this should not come loose while you're using it. And y'all know me, I use a big eye needle. It's a short big eye on this one, but I use a big eye needle. Okay. Now the way I have been doing this, because I like the way it looks, is I will add, you know how over here you add one and then a C and then the silver and then the black and you go up and around? Well, I'm kind of going to do that here. It's one and a silver, and then I'm going to do 19 black, 15 black? Oh, fudge. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. Yeah, 15 black. Okay. My memory isn't as bad as I thought. Yay! 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 beads on the needle. 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 12 beads on the needle. 13, 14, 15. 15! We have 15 beads on the needle. Okay, that's enough of that. Okay, you got your 15 in the middle, right? So you started out with 1 and then a silver and then 15 black. Now, you're going to do the other side because you're connecting here. You're going to do another silver and one black. Dun da da, dun da 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 da, dun da da. Okay. Now this is going to seem, boy, I'm just a klutz today. This is going to seem just a little bit, not clumsy, flimsy at first, okay? Now, you see I have this thread here. I'm going to leave it there just because if I end up needing it, or I like to tie a knot when I'm ready to start the next section sometimes. So I'm going to leave it there for now. But you see how you start out here? Well, I'm going to attach it over here. And so you go through this part, you know, providing, of course, I can get my needle to go where I'm asking it to go. Doo-doo-doo. Ta-da! Officially, you now attach the two sides together. Now, go through here. You're basically attaching this, and then you're going to go back and... Now, skip this. Don't go through this bead. Just go through these two and screw it or push it around. Otherwise, it ends up looking kind of funky. Because I tried both ways of doing that. And I like this the better. This is that. It looks better this way. Now, when you come back through here, you see where my needle is? Point of my needle? I've gone through the first black, the silver, and the second black. Okay. That's where you're going to come out. Okay. So your needle, your thread is going to stop there. Now, count out 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 beads on the thread. You're going to go through number 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Here's number 6. You're going to go through number 6, 7, and 8. Remember I was talking about that 3 before? Well, there's your 3. So we went through the first 3. We're going to go through the middle 3, and then we're going to go through the last 3. And you know what I did? I forgot to pick up my two beads. I'm a little slow on the uptake, but I do get there. See, I didn't even go all the way back. I'm so amazing. All right, now let's try that again. So there are the 5 between. I picked up my 2 beads. There are the 5 between. And pull it tight. So you end up with a corner. See? Wonderful little corner. Okay, so I pulled my 2 beads tight. There's my 3 on top. 2 beads there. Makes the little corner with the cat ears. Okay, now pick up 2 seed beads. 1, 2. 2 seed beads on the needle. Now, remember how on the other side you came up through first one and second, this first silver and then the second black? Well, you're going down on this side through those 3. And you know what? Miraculously, oh my gosh, there's actually 5 beads between. 1, see? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Oh my gosh. So you go through the first 3, the middle 3, the last 3, and you end up with 5 in each corner. Ha ha ha. There's a reason I was counting out that many beads. All right. Now, I'm going to reinforce it this way, because you're going to think I'm nuts, but this is the easiest way to do it. It really is. We're going to reinforce it one other way too, but this is first. Come on, all the way. There you go. Exactly the same way we did it last time. Go through these 2 here. Now go around the corner and through those guys, and stop here, because you see these wonderful little corners here look cool and everything, but they don't get as much pressure on the thread as the middle does. So go through your middle, just go around the curve. Okay, go around the curve again, all the way to the other side. Down, down, down. And you're going to stop right there at the beginning, right before the bugle bead. Okay? All right? There. So now you've got the whole thing started, see? Now I know that looks funky, it doesn't look like it's going to be a catch, but this is actually where your toggle is going to go. Let me show you the one that's done. That way you can have an idea what you're looking at, because I know it doesn't look like it works, but it works. Okay? See? This is how it's going to end up looking, basically. You see the similarity here? I know these beads are slightly smaller than these, but it'll work out, trust me. Because you're using the same beads, so the difference is the same, no matter how you look at it. And then you end up with the toggle like that, see? Doom, doom. And I happen to like the way this ends up looking as a toggle. So basically the other end, I'm going to show you how to do this part. And if you are a bead weaver already and you have experience making tubes, that's basically all you're doing, is you're making a tube for the toggle on the other end. Now, if it drives you absolutely bonkers to have the extra tails there, you don't need them. You can cut them off now at any point that you like. I don't tend to cut mine off very quickly, so bad on me maybe. But you don't need them unless you want to attach something later. So now we're going to make the first connector. Now the first connector, I'll show you the original again. Okay, your first connector is here. This is where we're starting from. So you're going to use the small bead here in the middle, and you're going to use the seed beads on the outside here. And I'm going to show you a secret here. To get this to look exactly like this, we're going to go through these a couple of times from different directions. So once the bead thread's going to come from this side up, and the other time it's going to come from this side. And either up or down, doesn't matter. But we're going through each of these a couple of times. So when I said you really didn't need to go through the beads extra times because they were going to be pretty secure, I really meant it. I'm going to go ahead and cut this one off. I don't think I'm going to need it. And really those extra ends, I only leave them on there in case I need to add thread for some reason. Okay, now first step here is to determine how many beads I need to have go around my silver. Because what I'm going to do is I'm going to have the silver in the middle. I need to determine how many silver beads I need to have go around this bead. So I'm going to start out, because I think it's going to end up being probably 9 or 10. 4, 5, 6. I think I'm going to make it 10 and see how that works. Okay. Oops. Sorry, I meant to be going through that bead first. You couldn't see that. I went down through the bugle, but I didn't pick up my seed bead, and I should be starting this from the seed bead point. Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4. Pick up 4 beads. In order to make a round of 10, pick up 4 beads. Okay, so you're coming from this seed bead, pick up 4 beads, go through this seed bead. Okay, and the reason I'm telling you that you can change it, because if you take a look at this one here, if this one here only has 8 beads, 3 on each side, 1 on each end, but that bicone is only 2 millimeters. This is a 3 millimeter bicone. Add another millimeter, and trust me, you're adding more beads. 2, 3. Okay, before I add the more beads, almost forgot this part. Pick up your bicone. You added your 4 here, you went through there. Pick up your bicone and go back the direction that you came out of that seed bead. Okay, go back into it. See what I did? And believe it or not, this is a basic daisy chain stitch. If you ever made basic beaded daisy chains, this is all it is. Okay. Now, if I don't like the way that the 10 look, I will go back down to 8. I'm going to see how the 10 looks, though. And yeah, you can go to 9, but I happen to like the even numbers on both sides. I think it looks neater, as in not as messy. Oh, come on. Tighten up. Everybody tighten up. Thank you. And thank you. Actually, that doesn't look too bad. I could make it smaller, but then it would have gaps. I think I like the way that looks. Okay. Now that's that one. Okay. Now, remember me saying that you were going to end up going through the beads twice? Yeah, we're doing that. All right. Now, you added them. You added the crystal. You added the center beads. Now, you went into this one from that side. Okay. Then we're going to go up and through all of these beads. And you're reinforcing it too. It'll end up looking much neater because you're going to have a nice tight run. Do not pull your thread so tight that it buckles everything. You want it snug, but not so tight that you can't move anything, because you need to be able to get in and out of your beads, and you want it to be able to bend around your wrist. I have a tendency to pull too tight. I know one person, at least I know, pulls her so tight that you can't move it. And I know somebody else I know who doesn't leave theirs loose, who leaves theirs so loose that it just seems floppy. Everything is floppy, even when it's not supposed to be. Okay. Now, these are all threads going into that bead. Now we want the threads to go into the other bead next to them. Okay. So pull it out there. And on the next round, I will show you a comparison. What happens, how it looks if you do this, and how it looks if you don't do this. Okay? Come on, there we go. See, both beads are going in that way. We're going to pick up that. And come on, in, snug, nice and tight. Not so tight that you're breaking anything, but nice and tight. And come on, into the holes. Yeah, that hole. Sorry, I've got a knot in there I'm trying to work through. So I'm beading through a knot that I happen to catch. It's the only knot I think I've got in the whole thing, because I tied at the end. And that was the reason I stopped doing knots, actually, was because I kept trying to put my needle through the knot. Because I always tuck my knots away inside the seed beads. I don't have them sitting out in a gap. If you can't see this, if the light's not good, I'm trying to make sure the light's good on these. If you can't see them, I'm sorry. Okay, that's going around the whole ring. Okay, and you're going to come down into the bugle bead and away from that center bead toward the outside. Now, there's a reason that I went the directions I went. And we'll go through it again so that you can understand it a little bit. Although, if it's only the ladies from my bead club, I'm sure you'll get it. But just in case anybody else watches this, there's a method to my madness. Okay. See how nice and neat that is? Okay. This bugle bead is thin, and if it points only at here, only to this middle bead, and doesn't have a thread going out toward the outside edge, then it comes to a major point, and it is really easy to break that thread because it just, and it looks flimsy. It's just too much pressure on one thread, one spot. All right, now we're going to work our thread around here. Da-da. Da-da-da-da-da. And we do want to cut that corner because we're coming down to this bead here, okay? All right, go through the silver bead. Yay for the silver beads. Now I'm going to lay this down for a sec because I like to make sure I got it right. Okay, so I'm going to have a silver bead in the middle here. Yeah, I don't think I'm going to need to add anything in the middle. See that? I'm going to try first of all doing 2 of each of the silver on each side, 2 of here, 1 here, 1 here, and on both ends, and see how that looks, and if it lays right, then I'll stick with it. Otherwise, I'll try 3 on each side. Okay, so I've got 2. Put the bead on, 2, because I'm not very bright. I didn't pick up my 2. I just said I did. I am too bright. I'm going to own it. Calling myself names is not conducive to self-love. And I like myself. Okay. Yeah, that's going to look good. That'll be fine. Put 2 here, 2 there. Okay. Now, you'll notice on this one I used rondelle. And I actually really love the way the rondelle looks. On this one though, I didn't have an appropriate rondelle, but I kind of like this bead. And it's got the silver and white finish to them. If you didn't notice that, it's got kind of a silver and white. And I forget what the finish is called. If you know Dana at Annie's Bead Shop, she knows. You could always ask her. But I haven't seen too many of them. Now, I will admit, the 8-pound thread nanofill that I'm using is a little thin for this bead. However, it is perfect for going through and reinforcing through the seed beads multiple times. Just go through this. Helps if you add the stupid beads, doesn't it? There we go. Now, I'm just a klutz today when it comes to this. I know how to sew. Okay, there we go. There, see? Doesn't that look kind of neat? I don't think it looks too loose, does it? Nah. Let's go back through that hole. And through two at the bottom. Now, technically, we've only gone through this twice when I'm done with this one. And that's really all we need, because it's 4 strands of string coming through. We've only gone through it twice, but it's more than enough, or should be. Oh, you know what? Yeah, that'll work. Okay. Always go the direction the beads are going. If you pull the opposite direction, like I want to come out here, but if I pull it to go out so that I come out there, I'm reversing it, it's going to change how your beads look. Don't reverse things. Just follow the flow. Follow the flow. You can get there no matter what. If it takes an extra 1/4 inch of thread, it takes an extra 1/4 inch of thread. No big deal. Okay? And you come out here. Just go right on through. You're just following all the beads through. Reinforcing everything. Pull it nice and snug. And your bead goes through your bugle. Okay? Once you're through the bugle, make sure you go through, sorry about that, through the seed bead. Now I'm going to go through this a little faster, because you already saw how we did this. Okay? So I got through here. I'm going to pick up 4 and go through here. I'm going to pick up 1 of the bicones, attach it to the other side. And then I'm going to pick up 4 seed beads, go through here, up, around, down, out the outside, up, around, down, out the outside, in the outside, come around here, toward there. It's really simple. It looks more complicated than it is. Okay. So, 1, 2, 4. And out the outside. Come on. Love it when bead twists. There we go. Okay. Now, pick up 1 of the bicones. And we're going to put it in through that bottom. Right? Only I went the wrong direction. It's not like I couldn't fix it, but if I do it consistently the same way, everything looks the same way. If you don't do something consistently, it can have a different look, and that can make a difference on how smooth your project looks at the end. So, once again, go this way. See what direction I'm pointing the needle? Okay. Yeah. Been doing this for a lot of years, but I'm by no means perfect. Okay, and then we pick up 1, 2, 3, 4. Come back down to the bottom and go through that way. Finish the circle. Pull it nice and snug. Okay. See how nice that looks? So pretty. It looked pretty, Ma. Now remember me saying that I was going to show you what the difference was in how they looked? Okay. If I do not go through the bugle beads one more time, can you see how they look, the difference in how they look? This looks really thin, and this looks more stable. This looks too pointy and unstable, and this looks more stable. And it ends up being consistent all the way down. But no matter how you're going to do it, make sure you are consistent. Okay? Now, see that gap? This is the gap you're going to put your toggle through. Okay? Now, if you are uncomfortable with it being that small a hole, or you've got a specific toggle, you can adjust it. The easy way to adjust it is to add more of the black seed beads between the silver and the cat ear. Okay? So if you need a larger area for your toggle, make it longer on each side, and you have to add one bead on this side, then you have to add a bead on this side. I think I'm going to like the way this looks. Anyway, so that's how you do this. And of course, then we go around so that we catch it. All right. Start this way. Go around the circle. Okay. Like that. Okay. Thread through the seed beads. Thread through the seed beads. Ta-da! Since I know what direction I'm going, I just thread through as many as I can without warping my project. Providing I can actually hit the hole with the needle today.